Welcome everyone to the Green Knight Prime Astrology podcast. I'm here with Billy DeBacco of Destiny Cards and Astrology. And we're going to discuss an interesting thing that I kind of uncovered about a month ago about what's going to be happening in Eris next month. And I think it's worth a really good look. I'm going to share the screen now to the charts. Yeah, we'll come on here. Okay. We're going to start out on April 30th. I'll put my spectacles on there.
How you doing, Ronnie?
Pretty good, Billy.
Yeah, that's good. I hope everybody else is doing good out there.
Yeah, good. Yeah, let's this is going to be a nice little discussion with me and Billy. We've looked at this a little bit, and as we know, we've had just a parade of planets through Pisces, and now it's really beginning to end with Neptune moving into Aries, ingressing for the first time. It will retrograde and come back, but the initial ingress is the important thing. And on April 30th, if we notice here, Venus makes its way in to Aries, and it won't retrograde there, thank goodness. Again, I should say. So Neptune at 1 degrees and Venus at 0, and so begins an interesting Aries stellium that we looked at. So now, Billy, was there anything in this particular chart you wanted to bring out? Maybe I could actually.
Not really. I just, as we progress along here, we got, Venus coming in, running into Neptune. So leaving, of course, Neptune left its home sign, and this is the initial entrance to Aries. As you said, it'll come back in. So this is going to be a little different than we saw with maybe a year and a half ago when Venus met up with Neptune in Pisces. It's quite a bit different feeling now. So, and as we go along, we'll get into the transits here as you lead us into those.
Yeah, one thing on here I'd like to note is that Chiron is at 24 degrees and Eris is at 25 degrees. So there's a lot of pain coming to the feminine right there. And we'll see as we go is that Chiron will end up transiting Eris, and then Venus will come back and split them both. But I think it really kind of begins here April 30th, which just happens to be my solar return this year.
Ooh, happy solar return.
Yay. I'm so happy.
You want to give them a little bit of background on the Eris?
Yeah. Now, Eris is an interesting. They call it a dwarf planet, but it's really only 50 miles smaller than Pluto. So it is an intense outer energy, and the mythology around it is that it's really kind of like the inconsolable daughter of Jupiter. She just really can't be pleased. And not only can't she be pleased, she's not out sulking on her own. She's like trying to conspire to bring things down. It's really kind of the angry woman ready to burn down the house to get her way. So it's a very tough energy there. I mean, it really is like a female Pluto. and she's kind of out on her own there. But you know, it there's like almost no redeeming qualities about her. That's what's interesting. But I think that things are going to start being better. And so I'm titling this video is Will the Feminine Heal? And I think that they will. I think there will always be Erises out there. But
well,
I
Eris,
think,
yeah, I'm sorry, Ronnie, but Eris, it's been in Aries for how long? Wow. It takes what,
it takes
500
in so many years. I don't have the exact numbers to go around, but it's been in Aries like almost all of last century, and it probably won't leave until like 2044. So it takes longer in Aries than any other sign, considering it takes like 550 years for it to go around the zodiac. So I think there's a lot of energy in that kind of accounts for what's been going on with the feminine over the last century.
Well,
So
just like Chiron in Aries, it's defining the hurt and the of the identity of each soul in the collective. And Eris is trying to find her identity, but she doesn't really. She's not working hard at it. She's
she's not working hard at it now. Now Venus in Aries is difficult too, because it's really you know, whether you're a man or a woman and have Venus in Aries, it's really about finding yourself first. And kind of, you really need to find yourself first by finding others. So Venus begins this trek in here following Neptune. Is Neptune delusional, illusional, or spiritual at that point?
Is Neptune getting dried out? Going into
Probably
Aries?
a dried out Neptune that has just left Pisces, its home. And now it's, you know, it's all packed up and ready to go around the zodiac to get back home again.
Well, what we all have to remember is, you know, Venus is not happy in a Mars-ruled sign. And of course, Aries is a Mars-ruled sign. So Venus struggles through Aries and Scorpio and even Capricorn, where Mars is exalted in Capricorn and domicile in Aries and Scorpio. So Venus is going to run through here, and we'll get to that part. We'll see what, you know, Mars has in store for Venus also.
Right. Okay. Let's click on to the next chart here. I just have, this is when Saturn enters Aries.
Oh.
So hooray for that. Let's get that a little more centered here. Let's see if I can. I'm just learning how to draw lines on my chart here. So Saturn down here, 0 Aries. We go all the way up here. Aries ends right about there. So we got 1, 2, 3. We have a stellium. And we have Chiron that's now only 3 minutes behind Eris. Chiron's chasing Eris. Chiron wants to heal Eris. We all want to get along, but Chiron's still running away there. Chiron hasn't quite made it. Like you said before, Neptune has come out of the 12th house. It's the ruler of the 12th. So there's going to be all kinds of 12th house ideas in the first house here. And it's dragging Saturn behind. Kind of like, what are you doing, Neptune, leaving your house? I'm going to drag a tidal wave behind me when we come out. So it's almost kind of like serious astro tidal waves
Daddy's
following
coming to
Neptune.
get his son.
I've been worried about the tidal wave for a couple of years now.
Yeah, I know. So,
And as we look up here, I mean, Chiron and Jupiter are in sextile. And we know that Chiron gets his power from Jupiter. Jupiter made Chiron immortal. Only Jupiter can heal Chiron. He's not very wounded here, and he's going after Jupiter's daughter. Can we calm down and just have a nice little talk?
she's screeching.
But Eris is like, get away from me, Chiron. And Venus now has gone from 0 to 19 degrees. So this is May 25th. So there is something coming in that nobody knows for sure what it is. But and our mentor David Palmer kind of called Chiron and Eris at 25 is the Trojan horse coming in.
Yes.
So who knows what lies in that Trojan horse?
Maybe Chiron's trying to warn everybody what's in that Trojan horse, but
yeah, right. But and notice Psyche is right in front in Taurus here.
Right.
Still a ways away, but that's kind of the feminine identity. One of the largest asteroids there that I conveniently drew over. This little thing there that looks like a bent Neptune. But so there's an interesting configuration, and all of this after the North Node. And we know the Taurus new moon is kind of like the dividing point. So this is after the Taurus new moon, and it's a new reality coming in here.
We may not see it right now, but we will eventually.
Yeah. It'll definitely be something happening. So,
Without question.
but there's other interesting aspects. I mean, Mars making a trine to the moon here, and in a couple of days after that, it'll be making a trine to Chiron and Eris here. So
And
we
also
have
Venus.
we've got a good little feeling going on here.
And Mars,
yeah, even
Mars,
tighter to Venus right now.
yeah, Mars is the dispositor of Eris, so Mars is going to help put through the energy here and the willpower to get through any type of deficits in healing. I think it'll help. Mars,
Right.
Mars is all our energy, and Mars, ruler of Aries, will really impact that, especially with Venus. It's going to help
Right.
Venus quite a bit.
And when Mars gets really just a little over 2 degrees from here, it'll be in the Mars decan of Leo, so it will be a powerful Mars depositing Aries.
Correct.
You're absolutely right there. So let's move on just before the thing that I really want to talk about. Okay, on June 1st, this is early in the morning. We now have the triple conjunction. And let's see, this is it right here. And I haven't learned to draw on the chart yet.
Oh, you're getting there. It's got that.
So right here, June 1st, early in the morning, Venus moves to 25 degrees. But an interesting thing happens in just a couple of hours from now, from this chart. But here, I think that we're going to feel, and the feminine feel, especially, I don't know if the right word is persecuted, but I think there's going to be a feeling of, is this ever going to get out of here? I got Venus behind me. I got Chiron in front of me. Even though we're starting to get, nice aspects to Jupiter there. I'm drawing in the wrong place. But we also have the moon and Mars starting to get in a little better position here. Now, there's going to be a lot of angst, and I'm going to call this it's really a stellium that's massive. You've got Saturn, Neptune, Venus, Chiron, and Eris all in here. And Chiron is really kind of an outer energy. It's an intense energy. Chiron could even be considered almost a planetary energy, especially in a immortal state where Jupiter is still really in a pretty good sextile over to them. I mean, that's 28 and 5 minutes, and we're looking at 25, 43, and 30 minutes over here. So that's a really still a personal orb, I would call it. When they get any wider than that, I call them social orbs. So
what we have there is Jupiter is semi-sextiling Uranus, and Uranus is just a few degrees off of Eris, Chiron, and Venus. But Uranus is going to try to help flip all that information over to Venus and Chiron and Eris.
Well, and it's in an exact semi-sextile to Jupiter.
Correct.
Jupiter and Uranus are working together, and even Mars a little bit. Now let's go a few hours later. Now notice what happens to this conjunction. We have a little bit of, I want to say, a 3-card Monty going on here. all of a sudden, Venus has transited Eris. Venus has talked to Eris and hopefully got her point across. And now she's in the middle between Eris and Chiron. Maybe Eris didn't want to hear it from the chief male centaur. But Chiron can speak to Venus, and Venus is speaking to Eris here. And if you notice, the trine from Mars and the moon now is in a tighter orb. So you got a trine. You still have these in a kind of a loose sextile over here to Jupiter. And Uranus still there, and a semi-sextile over here. You kind of have a nice wave of communication. And also, to a little icing on the cake here, is Eros still in Pisces, but on the other side of the North Node. It's transited the North Node. So and it's in a sextile to Uranus and a semi-sextile to our undercover stellium, should we call that? It's an undercover stellium.
Right.
And, and it's a mega stellium when you add Neptune and Saturn into it. And so Eros is talking over there, and Psyche, kind of in a loose sextile. So you kind of have, this is all happening in between the male and female sexuality.
That question. It is mostly that, but we all have a little feminine and a masculine as part of our creation. So I think everybody's going to benefit. I think through this. I think with Saturn, not Saturn, excuse me, Jupiter sending over some a good transit over to Chiron and Venus and to Eris. I think the benefit of Jupiter, excuse me, will help lift whatever healings with Chiron's trying to do to the feminine energy, male or female. And maybe it'll help Eris also. To me.
Well, I think I think that a whole lot of Eris's bad energy actually dissipates. Correct. At this point, and it's more of a I'll do my best to get along with the collective.
Right.
Now, we all know, if you were to look at this chart in a hoary aspect, it's heavy. Everything's been heavy.
Right.
I mean, where Pluto went back retrograde, it crossed back over my personal ascendant. It's like, hooray. I get that going across me 3 times on my personal ascendant.
Right.
So it's back in my 12th house. Neptune's dragging 12th house energy into the 1st house. Saturn wants to create a wave. If they're not behaving, can we just have a tidal wave?
You could.
Can we just whoosh? But here we go. I mean, but this still, male and female sexuality healing point. Correct. And to have them like Eros and Psyche sandwiching this stellium, right, I think is something that won't get looked at much.
Hence, that's why we're doing it.
Right. That's why we're doing this video when it's new moon in Taurus in a few hours.
Right. And, in a few hours on that date, the moon will be actually exactly trining the 3 of them. And it will bring on a good, wholesome feeling in the subconscious, emotional minds in the feminine. And with Mars dispositing over there to Aries, it's going to combine and help Venus get through all these identity issues. What Chiron.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely identity issues, and strong Mars now in the Mars decan of Leo.
Correct.
So this is the time for it's time to find your own identity, and that's for everyone. It's not just some sort of a sexual healing. It's more like the battle of the sexes is kind of being a little bit resolved. It's like, look at yourself. And and I'm happy. I mean, there's other cool things in this chart. I'm a big fan of Sedna.
Right.
Sedna, Jupiter's has transited Sedna. Sedna is a female energy that needs lots of healing. She's actually, she's the mythology around her of like becoming her hands cut off by her father when she's hanging on a lifeboat, and how, and her fingers and toes become sea life and sea monsters. Neptune, the ruler of the ocean, now on dry land, all packed up and ready to go around the zodiac. I mean, and that's a tight sextile right there.
Yep. And
So,
in my opinion, I'm going to go back to the Venus and the Mars stuff. I really believe Mars in Leo is going to give you the courage and the strength with your identity. And I do believe as we move forward after this, I think relationships will either that are strong are going to really thrive through this. I really do. That's, with the self-worth and with Mars.
oh yeah, that's definitely the main message here, for
yes,
sure.
yes.
I'm talking peripheral things here.
No, I know, but
my mind wanders when I look at charts. My heart wanders.
You do good. I know, Sedna. That came to my mind, and I just wanted to put that out there so we understand that.
Right. Yeah. Jupiter's already she's another slow mover dwarf planet.
Yep.
Who recently changed signs. So it's rare for her to change signs. So that's another healed or healing feminine energy. And of course, that doesn't mean boy girl. I mean, everybody's got a little Sedna in them. Everybody's got a little Eris in them.
a little bit of everything. So no, that's all. That's good. I mean, all these little things add up and help in the collective. It's been so heavy for the last 5 years. It's just been a very difficult time for humans, period. Male, female. Do we know what we are, who we are? We do. You just got to stay on the spiritual track. That's all.
Right. And that's what it is. If you're not spiritual at this point, if you're not knowing we're all one.
Right.
If you're not rooting for all of humanity and not just a faction.
Right. You're done. Not really, but you're not done. You're going to be left behind. I believe,
Yeah, right. And you're going to be left behind in a lot of pain. And a lot of these transits, there's going to be like no going back. It's kind of like final decision time.
Yes.
So anyway, that's I think this was the message that is going to be ignored in the next month. And I thought it was good that we brought this up to look at it.
I think it was a great idea because a lot of this won't get too much notoriety throughout the astrological community. We know David Palmer will talk about that.
He'll talk about it. He'll talk about the Trojan horse, but I think we're talking about there is a possibility for healing here. I mean,
it may be feeling rough going into it, but I think once we get through that, I think, and everybody will be beneficial. They'll benefit from the transits that we're going through. Yes.
And I think it's interesting that it's all happening in the month of May and ending June 1st.
I know.
So
Gemini season.
there needs to be a magical May happening.
I hope so. Maybe we got some good, beautiful flowers blooming in May. From the April shower.
We need some May flowers.
That's it. That's awesome.
Oh, I hope this share worked good. I'm sorry, I'm a technical moron. for the most part.
I don't think so.
Well, I learned how to draw on a chart a little bit.
Yeah.
And we'll see how that goes. But anyway, we'll wrap this out. Thank you for joining the Green Knight Prime astrology show, such as it is.
I appreciate you having me on with you also. Thank you.
Well, of course. And you can come to the TheGreenKnightPrime.com or email me at TheGreenKnightPrime@gmail.com. Request a reading. And you'll be happy to know that I consult a lot with Billy, even on readings. We can even do a tandem reading. And that works out really well. I have another video I put it out that explains what I look at in a reading, and it's quite a lot. And you will get the best. And I'd like to also mention that I encourage everyone to sign up at highvibe.tv and listen to our mentor, David Palmer, who I feel is like the greatest living astrologer. And yeah, he is. And anyway, I love you all. And if I don't love you all, I'm trying to love you.
You're such a big-hearted Taurus. Love you to death. Thank you for having me on with you.
Okay, thanks everyone, and you guys all have a great day. Good night.
Good night.
Says I can't end the call. You know what? There we go. I have to stop the recording.